My name is Ann Cooper. I'm the Director of Food Services for Boulder Valley School District. I'm the founder of the Food Family Farming Foundation and partner in Lunch Lessons, LLC. You know, I've written 4 books, and my second book was Bitter Harvest, and I started really talking about why food makes us sick and how it makes, how it's owned and how big companies can own it and why it makes us sick. And in 1999, before 1999, I'd been a chef all over this country. I opened a restaurant in London, cruise ships, catered parties of 20,000. I never really knew what kids ate, but in 1999, right before Bitter Harvest was going to come out, I got asked to take over a school in New York. It was called the Ross School in East Hampton. And I originally said, no way, I'm not a lunch lady. And then, you know, I thought about it. They called me back. They said, just come check it out, come see. And I did. And all of a sudden, it seemed like catering parties of 20,000 and all this other stuff that I'd done could lead me to making a change and making a difference with what kids ate. That's how I got into it. And I went from being a celebrity chef to being a lunch lady. The work I do is about kids and food and health of kids, and that also becomes health of family and health of planet. So it's really important. But we start with kids, and if we can change children's relationship to food, if we can change the way they see food, the way they feel about food, the way they think about food, eventually they'll change their families' buying habits, and eventually they'll have their own families. And I think we can save the health of the planet and everyone on it by doing that. At the Ross School, when we did an evaluation, we found that 75 to 80% of all the families changed how they bought, cooked, or shopped because of the food at the Ross School. I mean, and we see this over and over and over, that as kids change their eating habits, they absolutely change the family's eating habits. And instead of nagging for chips, they're nagging for broccoli. I started in school food 15 years ago, and when I started, nobody was talking about school food. Nobody. It wasn't part of the vernacular. And frankly, no one was talking about food system change either. Neither of those were in our lexicon. And, you know, fast forward today, Michelle Obama just this week announced that there was going to be a policy against advertising junk food to kids in school. The Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act came into being. The FDA is going to change nutrition labels. You know, the USDA is getting rid of snack food in schools, or really starting to regulate them. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, we see Arnie Duncan, Secretary of Agriculture, he and I were speaking at a conference recently, and he said that if we want to close if we want to close the achievement gap, we have to close the nutrition gap. So it's really part of this administration's focus. And I think, you know, from the garden to let's move salad bars to schools, which is my collaboration with the First Lady, we've really seen tremendous change in the 15 years I've been doing it. You know, my work, again, is with kids in schools, but it's not enough to change how kids eat. You have to change what's in the home. You have to change families. And I think there's a tremendous amount of work that needs to be done in educating families about what good nutrition is and about what real food is and cooking real food and helping them find their kitchens again and helping them really understand how important cooking is. And I think that that's a great place for health coaches. And I think that there's tremendous synchronicity and symbiotic relationships that could be had between chefs and school food people and health coaches, because we all have to tackle this. It's not enough to put roast chicken in the kitchen if everybody throws it away. You know, so we need to get away from highly processed foods. We need to get away from chicken nuggets. We need to get away from hot Cheetos as breakfast, and all that people need help. We're 2 generations away from actually cooking. I mean, we've now grown a generation of children that think chicken nuggets is a food group and hot Cheetos is breakfast. So health coaches absolutely have a place in changing the food system. So the biggest challenge to fixing the school food system is actually money. And the way it works is the USDA reimburses school lunch ladies like myself just under $3 for a lunch. And you might think, well, I can go pack a lunch for $3, but most schools spend less than $1 on food. So when you think about this, you know, less than $1, 10 dimes, or maybe $1.20, 12 dimes, how many ways do you want to cut that? And with those 10 or 12 dimes, you have to serve protein, whole grain, fruit, vegetable, and milk. And when you think about all that, it's really overwhelming. So one of the things that has to happen is we have to finance food as a core value like English and math and science, because I would make the point that, you know, there's nothing we do all day from the day we were born till the day we die but eat. I mean, we don't use trig, we don't use math, we don't use science, we certainly speak, but we have to value what we put in our bodies, and we put in our children's bodies just as much as anything else. And hungry kids can't learn, malnourished kids can't think. So we can't have the haves and have-nots. The wealthy school districts may be spending a little more money, and those poor school districts not. We have to put more money into this. We actually have to put more money into education as a whole, and then we really need to make sure that no children are ever hungry, and then it doesn't matter how rich or poor the school district is, that every child every day has healthy, delicious food in schools.
A lifestyle medicine practice is acknowledging that our foundations with sleep and stress and diet and movement and our relationships are fundamental to the healing process and the creation of disease. So I would encourage health coaches to know who they're going to talk to.